What's up everyone? Welcome to Fisk Financial. My name's Eric Fisk and today we're going to be talking about 401k retirement accounts, specifically the differences between a traditional 401k versus a Roth 401k, and ultimately why the traditional 401k is a bit of a trap. If you found your way to this video, I'm willing to bet that you're interested in personal finance and investing, which is exactly what we talk about on this channel. So go ahead and hit that subscribe button down below and tap the notification bell so that you get a notification every time I post new content. And if you wouldn't mind hitting that like button, that's going to help me out a lot. It's going to help the YouTube algorithm recommend this to other people that might enjoy it as well. So thank you guys for your support. Now let's get into it. First things first, if you're really new to this, I'll explain just real quickly what a 401k is. A 401k is a tax-advantaged account that many companies set up for their employees to invest in for their retirement. For the tax year 2020 and 2021, you're allowed to contribute up to $19,500 to a 401k. The specific tax advantage that this account provides you is dependent on whether or not you are contributing to a traditional or a Roth 401k. Those designations have to do with how the money that you're putting in is being taxed. With a traditional 401k, you're putting in what we call pre-tax dollars, which means the government has not taxed your income yet and is deducting that amount that you contribute right off the top. What this ultimately ends up doing is actually reducing your taxable income. I think the easiest way to really explain this is with an example. So let's say you're making $100,000 a year and you decide you want to contribute $10,000 a year to your 401k. Effectively, what this does in the eyes of the IRS is reduces your taxable income down from $100,000 to $90,000. So at the end of the year, instead of paying about $22,750 in federal and FICA taxes, you're only going to be paying about $19,750, so a savings of about $3,000 in taxes. Conversely, with a Roth 401k, you're investing after-tax dollars. So you're being taxed on that entire $100,000 income, and then after your tax implications, you're taking whatever amount you want and investing that into your Roth 401k. So the benefit of contributing after-tax dollars with a Roth 401k is that in retirement, when you go to retrieve those funds and withdraw it from your account, you won't have to pay taxes on it again because you already paid taxes on it up front. Whereas with our traditional 401k option, when you withdraw money for retirement, you do have to pay taxes on that money then because you contributed with pre-tax dollars. So both types of accounts have that same $19,500 contribution limit on them. Unless you're 50 or older, which then you're allowed an additional $6,500 in catch-up contributions. But which type of account is going to be the better bet long term? Ultimately, the answer to that, like many personal finance questions, is not a one-size-fits-all. It's going to depend on your individual retirement goals and also how close you are to retirement. Both of those things are going to play a factor in which one's right for you. But I want to talk about some of the more nuanced benefits that a lot of people don't know about concerning Roth 401k contributions. First of all, you might think that contributing pre-tax dollars to a traditional account makes more sense because it leaves you more money to actually invest because you're not paying as much in taxes. Which on the surface is true, but a lot of studies have shown that people generally contribute the same amount to their 401k, regardless of if it's a traditional pre-tax or a Roth after-tax. This is kind of just general human psychology at work. If you've already made the decision to contribute to your retirement account, a couple $1,000s in taxes probably isn't going to really change your strategy that much. So let's get back to the long-term tax implications of both these types of accounts. With a traditional 401k, when you're taking that money out in retirement, you're expecting to pay taxes on it. But what you might not realize is that you have to pay your regular income tax on the entire amount of that withdrawal. So unlike other investment accounts, where if you hold an asset long-term for more than a year, you benefit from a capital gains reduced tax rate, that's not the case with traditional 401ks. You're actually paying your regular income tax on that entire amount, contributions and gains. Conversely, looking at our Roth 401k example, again, you're expecting not to pay taxes on that withdrawal since you paid taxes on the upfront, but you might think that only applies to the contributions and that you're still going to have to pay a capital gains tax on any gains seen in that account. But that's actually not the case. With a Roth 401k, you don't have to pay taxes on any of it. So in our example where you're contributing $10,000 a year to this account, say you do that for 30 years, you're going to end up with a nest egg of about $1.8 million, only $300,000 of which was actual contributions. The other 1.3 million, 1.5 million is actually gains from the market, and you don't have to pay taxes on any of it. With a traditional 401k, you're gonna lose a good 20 to 30% of that due to taxes. The other big benefit of the Roth option here is that you're allowed to take those contributions out whenever you want. So if you decide after a few years of contributing to a Roth 401k that you want to take some money out to buy a home or buy an investment rental property, you're allowed to do that without penalty as long as you're just withdrawing contributions made and not any investment gains. With a traditional 401k, it's not that easy. Because those dollars were contributed pre-tax, you're not allowed to just take them out whenever you want. Also, it's worse than simply taking the money out and paying taxes on it. You're also going to be charged a 10% penalty for withdrawing money from a traditional 401k if it's not for retirement spending at age 59 and a half. There is one major recent caveat to this. With the CARES Act that was passed recently, you're allowed to take out up to $100,000 from a traditional or Roth 401k and not pay the 10% penalty, but you have to be able to prove that you were personally impacted by the illness with either losing your job or having a job offer rescinded. So hopefully this kind of illustrates my point here. I'm pushing for the Roth 401k. I want you to pay your taxes now so that you don't have to pay them later when your nest egg is considerably larger. It's definitely the more long-term play, and it just takes a lot of the uncertainty out of the equation because we really don't know what taxes are going to look like in the future. Many professionals think that we're going to see higher taxes as we move into the future, but simply put, we really don't know. And with a Roth account, you don't even have to worry about that anymore because you're not going to be paying those taxes regardless of what they are. But don't feel bad if you've been contributing to a traditional 401k. I've done the exact same thing before I learned the differences here. Some companies don't even offer the Roth as an option, so it just makes sense to go with the default and contribute to a traditional 401k. There's nothing wrong with that. You're still saving money for retirement, so kudos to you for that. But if you have the option to switch over to a Roth account, you might want to consider that with your employer. If you're still not sold, you can actually contribute to both types of accounts in the same year. As long as you're not going over that $19,500 cap, you can contribute to both a traditional and a Roth 401k. Some tax professionals also recommend this strategy to, again, eliminate some of the uncertainty of what happens in the future. If taxes are higher or lower, you could benefit from having both accounts. But again, just to reiterate some of the benefits to a Roth 401k, you're not going to pay taxes on those contributions or gains when you take them out in retirement. And also, you just have the flexibility of that money that if you don't want to save it all for retirement and you need to make a withdrawal, you can do that with a Roth that you can't do with a traditional. And the last one I want to lay on you, if you consider leaving this account to a spouse, or maybe you have other investment accounts that you're planning on relying on for your retirement income, and you want to save that 401k to leave to your spouse if you should pass away first. Well, keep in mind you're putting that spouse in a difficult tax situation as they're going from filing jointly to filing as single when you pass away, which puts them in a higher tax bracket. So again, having the Roth option eliminates this as a need for concern and just makes the situation a whole lot less convoluted. Now, if you're still smacking yourself for contributing to a traditional 401k, you can convert that to a Roth. You're gonna have to pay taxes on the money now, but it may be in your better interest doing that now rather than waiting decades for that interest to compound and having to pay additional taxes later in retirement. So all that said, guys, I'm not a financial advisor. You may want to talk to a tax professional before you make this decision. I would never misguide you guys on this, but again, everyone's situation is different, so it's always in your best interest to do your own research and make sure that you really understand the implications before making any big financial decisions. That's it for me in this one, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Like it if you liked it, and we'll see you in the next one.